Hello and welcome. During this webinar, I will be reviewing the new Canada's Food Guide that was released this past January. This webinar is intended for anyone who wants to learn about the new food guide or community groups that would like to show this presentation to their clients. This presentation was adapted with permission from Health Canada, Office of Nutrition Policy and Promotion, and Ottawa Public Health. During this webinar, I will discuss the following: why the food guide is important for Canadians, the changes to the new food guide and key messages in the new food guide, frequently asked questions about the new food guide, how to access Canada's food guide resources, and other helpful resources about food and healthy eating. So, why does the food guide matter to Canadians? Nutrition has a significant impact on our health. Benefits of healthy eating include long-term benefits, such as lowering your risk of chronic diseases, such as cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes, and some cancers. Benefits of healthy eating in the short term include improved concentration, attention, and performance at school and work. Other benefits include decreased depressive symptoms, decreased anxiety and emotional distress, improved feelings of well-being, general gut or gastrointestinal health. Nutrition is also complex, and sometimes it is a challenge to know what to eat. Canadians are bombarded with so much information from various sources, such as the newspaper, magazines, social media, and the internet, that it can be confusing and difficult to know what information is credible and can be trusted. To create a credible, evidence-informed food guide, it was created using a series of systematic reviews published between 2006 and 2018. These include reports by the World Health Organization, the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, the International Agency of Research on Cancer, Health Canada, and other credible organizations, as well as input from public consultations. It is important to note that studies by the food industry and organizations with business interests were excluded. The goal of the food guide is to promote healthy eating and overall nutritional well-being and support improvements to the Canadian food environment. To explore the new food guide, I am first going to go through the key messages. With this new food guide, Health Canada has moved away from the rainbow and its 4 food groups and moved to a plate model with 3 food categories. There are no longer recommendations on number of servings, as the focus is more on proportions of food versus portions of food. However, despite the different appearances, the recommended proportions of food eaten is quite similar. Health Canada moved the food groups onto a plate, which makes it much easier to apply on a meal-to-meal basis. Previously, each of the rainbow arcs represented a different food group, and the bigger arc, the more food proportions or portions suggested. If we take a look at the green arc, representing vegetables and fruits, it still occupies the biggest proportion of our healthy plate. Second, we have our grain products that now represent a quarter of our plate in the form of whole grains. Finally, we have the milk and alternatives and meat and alternatives that have been grouped together in the new protein foods grouping on the other quarter of our plate. Health Canada also acknowledges that healthy eating is more than the foods you eat. It is also about where, when, why, and how you eat, which is included in the healthy eating habit guidelines as well. One of the key recommendations from Canada's Food Guide is that we should be eating a variety of healthy foods every day. This helps ensure that we consume a variety of nutrients in our diet, promoting optimal health. Canada's new food guide plate is an excellent illustration of a healthy eating pattern, which is what you eat and drink on a regular basis. Aiming to follow these proportions throughout your day and meals can help you ensure you consume a variety of foods and achieve optimal health. Let's look at the plate in a little bit more detail. Canada's Food Guide recommends Canadians eat plenty vegetables and fruit. Filling half your plate with vegetables and fruit is an important part of a healthy eating pattern. Choosing different textures and colors and shapes is a way to eat more vegetables and fruit. Try a variety of vegetables and fruit that you have never tried before. Variety can also refer to fresh, frozen, or canned vegetables and fruits. These all count and are part of a healthy, balanced diet. It is important to choose what is most suitable for you, your budget, and your preferences. Look for frozen and canned vegetables and fruit without added sugar, sodium, rich sauces, or breading. If you do buy canned vegetables and fruit with added sodium, rinse them with cold tap water and drain them before eating. You may have noticed that fruit juices and fruit juice concentrates are not on the new food guide. Research shows that drinking sugary drinks, even 100% fruit juice, may lead to increased risk of obesity, type 2 diabetes, and cavities in children. Choose whole or cut vegetables and fruits instead of fruit juice to get all the health benefits. Dried fruit like raisins and craisins have a lot of sugar in them for a small amount. They can stick to teeth, and the sugars contained in these foods, like dried fruit, can also contribute to cavities. If dried fruit is eaten, it should be eaten with meals. It's important to note that there are many vegetables and fruits to choose from beyond what is on the plate in this picture. The plate is a guide to remind you to eat more vegetables and fruit compared to anything else. Remember, eat a variety to get all the nutrients that you need. The next food grouping is whole grains. Canada's Food Guide recommends filling a quarter of your plate with these foods. Whole grains are healthier choices because they include all parts of the grain and include important nutrients such as fiber, vitamins, and minerals. Fiber is linked to improved cholesterol levels, lower risk of cardiovascular disease, colon cancer, and type 2 diabetes. The vitamins found in whole grains help prevent and treat various diseases, including heart disease, high cholesterol, or eye and skin disorders. Types of whole grains include quinoa, whole grain pasta, whole grain bread, whole oats or oatmeal, whole grain brown, or wild rice. Remember, whole wheat and multigrain foods may not be whole grain. Some foods may look like they are whole grain because of their color, but they might not be. Read the ingredients lists and choose foods that have the word whole grain followed by the name of the grain as one of the first ingredients. An example would be whole grain oats or whole grain wheat. The last food grouping is protein foods. The new food guide recommends the other quarter of your plate be filled with protein foods. It combines the old milk and alternatives and meat and alternatives food groups. You don't need to eat a large amount of protein foods to meet your nutritional needs. A quarter of your plate is just fine. Canada's Food Guide also recommends that Canadians choose protein foods that come from plants more often. Plant-based protein foods can provide more fiber and less saturated fat than other types of protein foods. This can be beneficial for your heart health. Using plant-based proteins generally costs less than animal-based proteins, which also can help with budgeting. Plant-based proteins include beans, peas, and lentils like black beans, kidney beans, chickpeas, or red lentils, soy-based foods like tofu, soybeans, unsweetened fortified soy beverage, or other soy-based products, and nuts and seeds like peanuts, almonds, cashews, nut butters, or sunflower seeds. If you haven't tried plant-based proteins before, that's okay. Try planning 1 or 2 meals a week that are meatless. Try beans or lentils in soups such as Mexican black bean soup. Try black bean burgers, add cooked edamame to salads, or instead of lunch meat, spread hummus inside a whole grain pita and fill with vegetables such as romaine lettuce and shredded carrots. However, it's important that you know it is not recommended that all Canadians become vegetarian. Animal-based proteins such as eggs, lean meats, and poultries like lean cuts of beef, pork, and wild game, turkey or chicken, fish and shellfish like trout, shrimp, or salmon, lower fat dairy products like white milk, plain yogurt, or lower sodium cheeses can still be healthy parts of our diets. Let's also talk about unsaturated fats or healthy fats versus saturated fats. Canada's Food Guide recommends foods that contain mostly unsaturated fats, such as fatty fish, nuts, seeds, and avocado. Replace foods that contain mostly saturated fats, like high-fat dairy, processed foods, fatty meats, or tropical oils such as coconut and palm oils. Choosing foods that contain mostly unsaturated fats can help lower your risk of heart disease. The types of fat you eat over time is more important for your health than the total amount of fat you eat. Healthy fats are usually plant-based, with the exception of fatty fish such as salmon, mackerel, or trout, and oils that are liquid at room temperature. Saturated fat are usually from animal sources like meat or dairy, processed foods, and tropical oils that are solid at room temperature, such as coconut oil. To lower saturated fat when preparing protein foods, try these things. Drain off extra fat from meat after cooking. Trim the visible fat from meats. Remove the skin from poultry before cooking. Use cooking methods that use little or no added saturated fat like baking, grilling, roasting, and poaching. Limit the amount of sauces, butter, or gravy added to the food, and try enhancing flavors by seasoning with herbs, lemon, or salsas. The new food guide recommends that water be our drink of choice. Water supports health and promotes hydration without adding sugar. In 2015, sugary drinks were the main source of total sugars in the Canadian diet, with children aged 9 to 18 having the highest intake. Sugary drinks include iced tea, fruit juice, soft drinks, sports drinks, energy drinks, fruit-flavored drinks or punches, sweetened teas or coffee, hot chocolate, and other specialty drinks. While the new food guide emphasizes choosing water as our drink of choice, it does still include white milk as a healthy drink option, as well as unsweetened fortified plant-based beverages, tea, and coffee. If you don't drink water and want to start, try carrying a reusable water bottle with you. Try drinking water hot or cold. Drink water with your meals and ask for water with your food when you're eating out. And try a fruit and herb infused water or carbonated water to spice things up. Canada's Food Guide also emphasizes that highly processed foods and drinks are not part of a healthy eating pattern. They add a lot of sodium or salt, sugar, and saturated fat to your diet. Eating too much sodium, sugars, or saturated fat can increase your risk of chronic disease. Highly processed foods can include sweetened cereals, sugary drinks, chocolate, candies and chips, ice cream, and frozen desserts, fast foods like French fries and burgers, frozen entrees like pasta dishes and pizza, bakery products like cookies, muffins, cakes, and processed meats like bacon, sausage, and deli meats. This does not mean that we can't eat any processed foods. They just shouldn't be the main component of our pattern of eating. Try eating processed foods less often and in small amounts. Let's take a look at these 3 meals and compare them to the Canada's Food Guide plate in the center. Which one best matches the Canada's Food Guide plate? The following image is the best choice because half the plate is vegetables and the rest is divided between the salmon, a protein food, and barley, a whole grain. What are the other 2 plates missing? This plate shows a lot of vegetables and some whole grain bread, but it is missing a protein food. And this plate has vegetables and protein, but is missing a whole grain food. Switching gears a little, the new food guide takes into consideration healthy eating habits that contribute to healthy food choices. Canada's Food Guide also recognizes that healthy eating is more than the food you eat. How you eat is just as important as what you eat. It goes beyond what to eat and expands on the where, when, why, and how we eat. I will go through each of these recommendations in a little bit more detail. Being mindful of your eating habits is the first recommendation. Being mindful means to think not only about what you're eating, but also how you eat, why you eat, when you eat, where you eat, and how much you eat. Being mindful can help you make healthier choices more often, make positive changes to your routine eating behaviors, Be more conscious of the food you eat and your eating habits. Create a sense of awareness around your everyday eating decisions, and reconnect your eating to the experience of eating and creating an awareness of your feelings of fullness and hunger, and also an awareness of your feelings, thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. To be mindful, try taking the time to eat. Don't rush it. Listen to when your body is hungry and when your body is full, and try avoiding in your car, on the go, or when you're at your desk. The second recommendation is to cook more often. Plan what you eat and involve others in the planning and preparing of meals. By cooking more often, you are likely to eat less highly processed foods, such as takeout and pre-prepared meals. Make and eat foods that you and your family enjoy. Pass on cooking skills to your children. Save money, and overall, eat healthier. The third recommendation is to enjoy your food. Enjoying eating is very important and part of a healthy eating pattern. Eating food and enjoying your foods that are part of your culture and food traditions, trying new foods and flavors, taking time to make food that tastes good, socializing at mealtimes, and growing and harvesting your own food are all ways to enjoy your food. Part of enjoying your food is eating meals with others like family, friends, or coworkers. There are lots of benefits of eating with others, such as enjoying quality time together to talk about your day, sharing food traditions across generations and cultures, and exploring new healthy foods that you might not normally try. There are also many benefits of family meals for children and teens. Children and teens that eat family meals make healthier food choices like eating more vegetables and fruit and having less pop and fried foods, learn to listen to their body's hunger and fullness cues, build and maintain close family relationships, practice social skills and manners at the table by using please and thank you, perform better in school, and avoid high-risk activities such as substance abuse and smoking. Remember, take your time, focus on eating and each other, and turn off the TV, tablets, and phones at mealtimes. Being aware of food marketing and how it can influence your food choices is also an important food skill. Food marketing can take on many forms, such as branding, sponsorship of events, celebrity endorsements, contests, social media posts, advertisements, or product placement. Marketing is also getting very sophisticated and targeted based on your age or gender, purchasing behavior, or web browser history. The type of marketing we see is mostly for processed foods and drinks that contain a lot of sodium, sugars, or saturated fat. Food marketing can be very convincing and it can be very hard to know what foods are really healthy, making it hard to make healthy food choices. Being aware of food marketing is a food skill. Ways to decide if a food is healthy instead of relying on marketing messages alone can be things such as using food labels to help you make informed choices, sticking to a grocery list and avoiding impulse purchasing, and limiting the exposure to ads by limiting screen time or downloading platforms that limit advertising. Children and youth are highly targeted and influenced by food marketing. Talking about food marketing to your children, teaching them about how to recognize marketing techniques, and showing them how to choose foods by using food labels and focusing on whole food ingredients and cooking at home are ways to help children and youth be critical of food marketing. The next recommendation is to use food labels. Using food labels can help you compare different foods and make informed food choices and plan nutritious meals. The types of information that is available on food packages are the nutrition facts table, which provides information on serving size, calories, and certain nutrients, as well as percent daily value. The percent daily value can be used as a guide to show you if the serving of food has a little or a lot of a nutrient. The ingredients list lists all the ingredients in a food product by weight. Nutrition claims, food allergen labeling, and date labeling are also on food labels. As I previously mentioned, the percent daily value can be used as a guide to show you if the serving of food has a little or a lot of a nutrient. As a guideline, 5% daily value or less means it contains a little of a nutrient. and 15% DV or daily value or more means that it is a lot of a nutrient. You would want to look for a lot or 15% or more of some nutrients like fiber, potassium, calcium, and iron. You may want to look for a little or 5% or less for nutrients like sodium, saturated fat, and trans fat. Health Canada is making improvements to the nutrition facts table and list of ingredients on food labels. Over the next 4 years, you will see changes on the food labels. These changes will make it easier for you to know what is in your food and make healthier food choices. That wraps up the key messages that are in the new Canada's Food Guide. There have been some frequently asked questions about the new food guide that I would like to address now. The first question is, how will the food guide help Canadians get enough calcium since the Milk and Alternatives food group is not a separate food grouping? Consideration of the variety of foods that can contribute to calcium is increasingly important given the diversity in Canada and the wide range of foods that Canadians eat. Health Canada recommends that Canadians eat a variety of healthy foods each day, including fruits and vegetables, whole grains, and protein foods. Many foods recommended by the food guide can help Canadians meet their calcium requirements. These include things like milk products like white milk, yogurt, cheese, as well as unsweetened fortified plant-based beverages such as soy beverage, fish with bones like canned salmon and sardines, many tofu varieties, as well as beans and dark green vegetables such as broccoli, kale, and bok choy. The next question is, are plant-based beverages a healthy choice? Fortified soy beverage is the only plant-based beverage that is considered a protein food. Other plant-based beverages such as almond beverage, hemp beverage, rice beverage, or oat beverage do not have enough protein to be part of Canada's food guide as a protein food. However, they may be fortified with calcium and vitamin D. Unsweetened plant-based beverages can also be chosen as an alternative to water when choosing a beverage to drink. The next frequently asked question is, are meat and milk still part of the food guide? The answer is yes. Meat and milk are still part of the food guide. They are both now in the new protein food category. While the new food guide puts an emphasis on plant-based proteins, it continues to encourage Canadians to choose a variety of nutritious foods, which include animal-based proteins such as lower-fat dairy and lean meats. Another question is, what are plant-based proteins and why are they recommended specifically? As previously mentioned, plant-based proteins include beans, peas and lentils, soy-based products, and nuts and seeds. Health Canada advises, among protein foods, to consume plant-based proteins more often. This is because patterns of eating that emphasize plant-based foods can have positive effects on health, such as lowering the risk of cardiovascular disease. Dietary survey data shows that Canadians do not frequently consume plant-based protein. Therefore, recommending plant-based proteins is a way to encourage Canadians to consume them more often and reap their health benefits. It is important to note that while Health Canada recommends plant-based proteins, animal-based proteins such as fish, shellfish, lean red meats, including wild game, lower fat milk, lower fat yogurts, and cheese, lower in fat and sodium, can still be part of healthy eating. Another question is it costly to eat according to the new food guide? Healthy eating does not have to cost more. It is important to be aware that many of the food options depicted on the plate, as well as other nutritious foods, are available as frozen, dried, or canned and can be healthy options. The Food Guide website provides advice on food preparation skills, including tips for healthy eating on a budget to help reduce the cost of healthy eating for Canadians. Health Canada recognizes that the Food Guide is only one part of a comprehensive approach to support healthy eating. Addressing the determinants of health and reducing health inequities is required to help Canadians make healthy food choices that are all aligned with the Food Guide. The last question is, how do I order a print copy of the Food Guide? The new Food Guide was developed as digital first, with online tools and resources tailored to suit a variety of audiences as part of the Government of Canada's commitment to decrease its carbon footprint. The new Food Guide website also houses recipes, videos, and actionable advice that will help Canadians apply dietary guidance to their daily lives. The Food Guide snapshot and other resources can be downloaded as a PDF for printing at canada.ca/foodguide. For those who have limited web accessibility or cannot print a copy, copies can be ordered. To get a print copy or copies of the Food Guide snapshot, you can fill out the order form on Health Canada's publication website. Finally, you can find all the information you need about the Food Guide, such as the snapshot, posters, recipes, and tips for healthy eating on the Health Canada site below. You can see that the website will have the Food Guide snapshot available in 28 different languages, as well as many pages about the Food Guide recommendations, such as healthy snack ideas or meal planning. I also encourage you to visit the Food and Healthy Eating section of our Middlesex London Health Unit website, as we have a lot of food and healthy eating information and resources on the website. Unlockfood.ca is also a great resource for credible information regarding nutrition. Finally, if you want to speak to a registered dietitian for free, you can call telehealth at 1-866-797-0000. That's the end of this webinar. Thank you for your time, and I hope you enjoyed it.